Welcome to the All India Bar Examination Model Paper 29. This video offers 100 practice questions, answer keys, and explanations covering 19 essential law subjects for your preparation. Question 1 asks, which section of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947 defines, quote, layoff? The correct answer is A, Section 2, KKK. Question 2. The provision for arrest without warrant under the old CRPC Section 41 now corresponds to which section of the BNSS? The correct answer is B, BNSS, Section 35. Question 3 concerns corporate social responsibility under the Companies Act 2013. It is mandated by A, Section 135, requiring qualifying companies to spend at least 2% of average net profits on CSR activities. Question 4 asks for the section in the Transfer of Property Act 1882 containing the doctrine of part performance. The answer is B, Section 53A. Question 5. A one-person company under the Companies Act 2013 is defined and recognized under C, Section 262, meaning a company with only one person as its member. Question 6 addresses the jurisdiction of civil courts under Section 9 of the CPC. They have jurisdiction to try all suits of B, a civil nature, except those expressly or impliedly barred. Question 7 asks about the doctrine of res geste under the BSA 2023. It corresponds to B, Section 4, dealing with facts forming part of the same transaction as relevant. Question 8 asks, which case expanded the concept of quote, procedure established by law under Article 21 to include fairness? The correct answer is A, Maneka Gandhi v. Union of India. Question 9. Organized crime as a distinct offense under BNS 2023 is dealt with under A, Section 111, covering continuing unlawful activity by crime syndicates. Question 10 discusses an advocate accepting a brief and withdrawing without sufficient cause. This is considered D, professional misconduct under the Advocates Act and BCI rules. Question 11. Identity theft and impersonation by means of a communication device is punishable under D, Section 66C of the IT Act 2000. Question 12 asks for the section in BNS 2023 that contains the offense of Terrorist Act. The correct answer is D, Section 113. Question 13 pertains to the number of arbitrators on an arbitral tribunal under the Act of 1996. The number must be B, an odd number to avoid deadlock. Question 14. Daughters were given equal co-parsonary rights under the Hindu Succession Act 1956 by A, the 2005 amendment, making them co-parsoners by birth with the same rights as sons. Question 15 asks, which jurisprudential doctrine institutionalized public interest litigation in India? The correct answer is B, relaxation of locus standi, allowing public-spirited individuals to approach the courts. Question 16. Maintenance to a Muslim divorced wife under Section 125 CRPC was held payable in which case? The correct answer is C, Mode. Ahmed Khan v. Shah Bano Begum, 1985. Question 17. The principle of constructive res judicata is embodied in which explanation to Section 11 of the CPC? The answer is C, Explanation IV. Question 18. Under BNSS 2023, the maximum extended period for completing an investigation in serious offenses is C, 90 days, after which the accused may be entitled to default bail. Question 19 asks when the right of private defense of body begins under the BNS 2023. The correct answer is B, a reasonable apprehension of danger arises. Question 20. In the Income Tax Act 1961, the previous year is defined in which section? The answer is A, Section 3, defining it as the financial year preceding the assessment year. Question 21. Publishing obscene material in electronic form under the IT Act 2000 is punishable under D, Section 67. Question 22. The FIR for a cognizable offense under the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita 2023 is registered under D, Section 173. Question 23 asks, which section of the Advocates Act 1961 deals with an advocate's professional misconduct? The correct answer is B, Section 35. Question 24. Which provision of the IPC 1860 dealt with sedition before its repeal by the BNS 2023? The answer is C, Section 124A. Question 25. Interim measures by a court in aid of arbitration under the 1996 Act are provided for under D, Section 9. Question 26. Section 89 of the CPC provides for dispute settlement outside the court through B, arbitration, conciliation, mediation, or lock-out-a-lot. Question 27. A mortgage by deposit of title deeds under the Transfer of Property Act 1882 is also known as C, equitable mortgage. Question 28. An advocate is barred from advertising their practice as per DBCI rules on standards of professional conduct and etiquette, which prohibit solicitation. Question 29. Under the Indian Contract Act 1872, a contract by a person of unsound mind is B, void, as they are incompetent to contract. Question 30 asks how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar classified Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. The correct answer is D, the heart and soul of the Constitution. Question 31. Under the Special Marriage Act 1954, the minimum notice period before solemnization of marriage is D, 30 days, as per Section 5 of the Act. Question 32. Dying declarations were admissible under the Indian Evidence Act 1872, in which section? The answer is B, Section 32(1). Question 33. Statements recorded by a magistrate corresponding to old CRPC Section 164 are now under C, Section 183 of the BNSS 2023. Question 34. An arbitral award may be set aside by a court under which section of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996? The correct answer is B, Section 34. Question 35. Confessions made to a police officer are inadmissible in evidence under which provision of the BSA 2023? The answer is C, Section 23, a safeguard against coerced confessions. Question 36. Under the Income Tax Act 1961, the residential status of an individual is determined under B, Section 6, based on their physical presence in India. Question 37. Anticipatory bail under the BNSS 2023 is provided under B, Section 482, allowing an individual apprehending arrest to seek pre-arrest bail. Question 38. The presumption that a child born during a valid marriage is legitimate is contained in the BSA 2023 in B, Section 116. Question 39. For two Hindus seeking divorce by mutual consent, the applicable provision is A, Section 13B of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Question 40. Electronic and digital records are recognized as primary evidence under the BSA 2023 in B, Section 57. Question 41. The President of India can promulgate an ordinance when Parliament is not in session under which article? The correct answer is C, Article 123. Question 42. Prior consent of affected families under the Land Acquisition Act 2013 is required for acquisition for A, private companies for public purpose. Question 43. The threshold turnover for compulsory GST registration for service providers in general states under the CGST Act 2017 is C, Rs 20 lakh. Question 44. Order 7. Rule 11 of the CPC empowers the court to D, reject the plaint on specified grounds, such as no cause of action. The offense of cheating, earlier under IPC Section 420, is now covered under Section 318 of the BNS 2023. The correct answer is D, Section 318. A second appeal lies to the High Court under Section 100 of the CPC on a substantial question of law. The correct answer is D, Section 100. This section permits a second appeal only when the case involves a substantial question of law. The principle audi alterum partem is a facet of the broader doctrine of principles of natural justice. It requires that no one be condemned unheard. The correct answer is C, principles of natural justice. An agreement without consideration is void under Section 25 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, subject to exceptions like natural love and affection in a registered writing. The correct answer is C, Section 25. Under the BSA 2023, an admission is generally not conclusive proof, but may operate as estoppel against the party making it. The correct answer is B, not conclusive proof, but may operate as estoppel. The National Green Tribunal was established under the National Green Tribunal Act 2010. This act provides for the effective and expeditious disposal of environmental cases. The correct answer is D. The National Green Tribunal Act 2010. Under the Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act 1956, a male Hindu may adopt a daughter only if he has no living Hindu daughter or daughter of a predeceased son. The correct answer is A. Living Hindu daughter or daughter of a son. Under the Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam 2023, a fact in issue is defined under Section 2(1)(j). This refers to any fact from which the existence of a right, liability, or disability follows. The correct answer is C. Section 2(1)(j). Under the Patents Act 1970, the term of every patent granted in India is 20 years from the date of filing the application, as per Section 53. The correct answer is B. 20 years from the date of filing. If Amit pushes Vijay and Vijay dies due to an unknown pre-existing condition, Amit is liable for causing death by negligence under BNS Section 106. The correct answer is C. Causing death by negligence under BNS Section 106. The inherent powers of the High Court, previously under CRPC Section 482, are now contained in Section 528 of the BNSS 2023. The correct answer is D. Section 528. Delegated legislation is subject to judicial review primarily on the ground that it is substantively ultra-vires the parent statute, meaning it is beyond the conferred powers. The correct answer is C. Substantive ultra-vires the parent statute. The principle of absolute liability in Indian tort law was evolved by the Supreme Court in the MC Mehta v. Union of India, or oleum gas leak case of 1987. The correct answer is A. The writ of quo warranto is issued to question the legal authority of a person holding a public office of a substantive character, aiming to remove usurpers. The correct answer is B. A public office of a substantive character. A trademark such as FitLife for fitness apparel is registered under the Trademarks Act 1999, which governs the registration and protection of marks in India. The correct answer is A. The Trademarks Act 1999. The minimum number of members required to constitute a Lok Adalat, as per the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987, is typically 3. The correct answer is D. 3. Under the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, the definition of domestic relationship includes persons living in a relationship in the nature of marriage. The correct answer is C. The constitutional requirement to summon a session of Parliament is that 6 months must not intervene between its last sitting in one session and the date appointed for its first sitting in the next session. The correct answer is A. 6 months. The maximum number of elected members in the Lok Sabha cannot exceed 550. This limit is set in the Constitution of India. The correct answer is C. 550. A public servant under the BNS 2023 is defined in Section 224. This definition has wide applicability across various roles. The correct answer is A. Section 224. The offense of sedition is omitted from the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. This is a key change in the new code. The correct answer is B. Sedition. The maximum punishment for theft under Section 303 of the BNS 2023 is imprisonment for 3 years, or a fine, or both. The correct answer is B. Imprisonment for 3 years, or fine, or both. Section 437 of the old CRPC, relating to bail in case of non-bailable offenses by an officer in charge, is contained in Section 480 of the BNSS 2023. The correct answer is B. Section 480. The definition of electronic record is provided under Section 2(1)(p) of the Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam 2023. This section updates the law of evidence for the digital age. The correct answer is A. Section 2(1)(p). The minimum number of persons required to form a company under the Companies Act 2013, if it is a public company, is 7 persons. The correct answer is D. 7 persons. Under the BNSS 2023, the provision relating to the commencement of an investigation is found in Section 175. The correct answer is C. Section 175. The principle of damnum sine injuria means damage without legal injury. This principle is key in understanding torts where harm occurs but no legal right is violated. The correct answer is D. Damage without legal injury. The maxim actus non facit reum nisi mens sit re means an act does not make a person guilty unless there is a guilty mind. This is a fundamental principle of criminal law. The correct answer is B. The Supreme Court is empowered to transfer cases from one high court to another under Article 139A of the Constitution of India. The correct answer is C. Article 139A. The rule of strict liability in Rylands v. Fletcher applies when there is a non-natural use of land coupled with the escape of a dangerous thing causing damage. The correct answer is B. The Code on Wages 2019 consolidates 4 earlier central labor enactments: the Minimum Wages Act, the Payment of Wages Act, the Payment of Bonus Act, and the Equal Remuneration Act. The correct answer is D4. The Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Act 2015 introduced the 7th Schedule, which lists grounds for the ineligibility of an arbitrator. The correct answer is D, the 7th Schedule. The Supreme Court formally accepted letter petitions as a basis for public interest litigation in the case of S.P. Gupta v. Union of India in 1981. The correct answer is A. S.P. Gupta v. Union of India. Under the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881, the presumption that a holder is a holder in due course is contained in Section 118. The correct answer is B. Section 118. Restitution of conjugal rights under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is provided under Section 9. The correct answer is B. Section 9. Section 356 of the BNSS 2023 provides for trial in absentia of a proclaimed offender who has absconded. The correct answer is C. Section 356. Under the CPC, an ex parte decree may be set aside on application by the defendant under Order 9, Rule 13. The correct answer is D. Order 9, Rule 13. The 10th Schedule of the Constitution, inserted by the 52nd Amendment in 1985, contains provisions regarding the anti-defection law. The correct answer is D. 10th Schedule. The Right to Fair Compensation and Transparency in Land Acquisition Act came into force in 2013, replacing the Land Acquisition Act of 1894. The correct answer is A. 2013. The provision regarding the place of suing for immovable property is contained in Section 16 of the Civil Procedure Code. The correct answer is A. Section 16. Under the Motor Vehicles Act 1988, a claim for compensation in a fatal accident is filed before the Motor Accidents Claims Tribunal. The correct answer is C. The doctrine of basic structure of the Constitution was propounded by the Supreme Court in the landmark case of Kesavananda Bharati v. State of Kerala. The correct answer is A. The Wensbury principle of unreasonableness in administrative law originated in the United Kingdom, specifically in the case of Associated Provincial Picture Houses v. Wensbury Corporation. The correct answer is C. Under the BNSS 2023, the summary trial procedure is contained in Section 283, ensuring a simplified process for minor offenses. The correct answer is C. Section 283. Under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, the offense of murder is punishable under Section 103. The correct answer is B. Section 103. The question asks under which section of the Indian Contract Act 1872 is frustration of contract due to supervening impossibility dealt with. The correct answer is Article 21A. The right to education was made a fundamental right by inserting Article 21A through the 86th Amendment Act 2002 for children aged 6 to 14. This question asks which section of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947 primarily governs retrenchment. The correct answer is Section 25F. Post the 2018 amendment to the Specific Relief Act 1963, specific performance is generally a statutory rule rather than a discretionary remedy. This makes option A the correct answer. The Goods and Services Tax in India is primarily governed by the 101st Constitutional Amendment Act 2016, which inserted Article 246A and established the GST framework. Option C is correct. An appeal from an order of a State Bar Council Disciplinary Committee lies to the Bar Council of India under Section 37 of the Advocates Act 1961. Thus, A is the correct option. The polluter pays principle was applied by the Supreme Court of India in the case Indian Council for Enviro Legal Action versus Union of India in 1996. This means option C is correct. Under the Consumer Protection Act 2019, the pecuniary jurisdiction of the District Commission is up to Rs 50 lakh. Option D is the correct answer. Under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the prohibited degrees of Sapinda relationship extend to 5 generations through the father, as stated in Section 3. F. The correct option is A. Article 17 of the Indian Constitution abolishes, quote, untouchability and prohibits its practice in any form. Option D is correct. Section 151 of the CPC 1908 preserves the inherent powers of a civil court to make necessary orders for the ends of justice or to prevent abuse of process. Therefore, option D is the answer.